Herd mentality.
Herd mentality. But you know, before we go there, I think there's something that we need to get straight with people. Someone made a comment on a video of ours on a, I think, or was it the podcast or was it the YouTube video this last week?
It's probably Facebook.
I have no idea
It
what
was
you're
on
talking
something,
about.
but he attacked you guys as being old fucking baby boomers because of your complaining and whining and wheezing.
Well, he was talking about Indian. So let me get this straight.
No. We were talking about Indian. He was talking about you guys. And I just want to go on record to let everybody know that no one here is a boomer.
No, we are not.
So don't throw us in with that baggage shit.
All I know is when I jump on my Harley, I feel iron and steel. And the fucking intake sounds like a tornado. And the fucking exhaust sounds like thunder. And I jump on an Indian and I land on a dick.
But do you enjoy the ride? That's the question.
I'm just
not
saying.
not as much as the Harley.
Not as much as the Harley.
Yeah.
That
So,
was the best.
you know.
Jump on it, need to land on the dick.
Just saying.
Welcome back to the Five Dirty Bikers podcast.
Presented by Memphis Shades, the clear choice for custom windshields and fairings for your motorcycle. And Wild Ass Seats, stay in the saddle longer and in total comfort no matter your butt or budget.
Dave, are you officially, are you like right at the beginning of Gen X? Is that where you land?
I'm what they call the psycho.
The
group.
psycho.
Well, we
Yeah.
knew you were a psycho.
You're a lineman, aren't you?
I'm the bridge group between the boomers and Gen Xers. I'm more of a Gen Xer
Okay.
than anything else. But I just want to be clear. He wasn't talking about me. He was talking about you guys
Yeah, well,
being old fucking boomers. Not me.
You know, slice it however you want, but
Just
you know,
saying.
I'm not the one with my AARP card in my wallet yet.
Hey, you know what? A discount's a discount. $20 is $20.
It is, except when that discount also comes with an adult diaper.
Jesus.
No,
I'm just
those are
waiting
only
for that.
those are only free
That,
samples.
what is it? That
Free
cellular
samples.
service? What is it?
Oh, that's crossing into even older territory, Dave. When you start relying on free samples for everything.
Hey,
Hey, man, I'll take a free sample. I'll go to Costco and I won't even eat lunch.
are you
That's-
one of those
I-
people? Do you like go around the aisles and just get as many free
I'll
samples?
hit everything they got, even if I don't want it.
You should do that at the
I
mall.
am not surprised by
You
this.
should do that at the malls.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember, like, at the mall here back in the day, there was a Chick-fil-A in there, and they used to give out nuggets as samples.
Nice.
Just tear them motherfuckers up.
Just bring 3 outfits and go buy 3 times.
What are we talking about today, people?
How did you say it, Percy?
Yeah, how did you say it?
What did I say? Oh, the Harley herd mentality.
Herd mentality.
Herd mentality.
Okay.
When it comes to what, aftermarket parts or mods
think-
or what?
I think just anything. You know, it could, you know, I say Harley herd mentality, but it could be any brand or anything. It's just those, you know, things you get into Harley and you assume that you need to do certain things or act a certain way simply because you think that's how people who have a Harley act. Or
So you need to have the leather jacket and the
jacket or
the chain wallet.
or the
can
old
go
tropes,
anywhere.
you know, like, oh, I have to put an exhaust on my bike or else it's a piece of shit, you know, before I do anything else.
Well,
that stuff.
that's true. That's true. That's not really going.
You know, it's interesting to me because and I think maybe it just because it's recreation and not something like utilitarian as far as our motorcycles. But you know, they always say that the most rare Harley out on the market is a stock Harley,
Stock Harley.
right? So every person gets a Harley and they want to make it their own, right? But you go out and buy a Toyota Corolla and you're not putting a fin on the back and new wheels and changing the interior and getting new seats and
Well, the
getting a
young
new
people
exhaust
do.
system.
It's like some people do.
Yeah, that's old folk don't.
Yeah, but is that make it your own part of it too, though? Right? I mean, it's a great marketing thing, right? Buy a
I want to
Harley
meet the
'cause you can make
motherfucker.
it your own. Buy all of this shit to put on your bike.
I want to meet the motherfucker who put the big wheel on it the first time.
Yeah,
I mean, who came up with that?
you came up with that
Probably the
idea.
guy that
Yeah,
invented the
Give me
Ferris
that
wheel.
30-inch wheel right there. I'm
Put a
gonna put it on
big-ass
the front of
wheel
my
in the
bike,
front where I can't steer my bike.
and then I'm gonna put 6-foot-long fucking saddlebags on the back.
Right.
They were really popular for a while.
They
You
still
know what?
are. I mean, have
You
you
can
seen
still-
some?
Yeah, you can still find them, and they're still a thing in the Midwest. I mean, our bike shows here still always has 2 or 3 big wheel baggers in them, and I don't hate them except for when they start to look too much like a spaceship, and then I'm
Yeah.
out. When
Yeah.
We
when
saw 3 of them at Hogs and Frogs.
when they're so done up that they're not rideable, that you can't even turn it without the bike scraping the ground, or then I'm out. That's one of those things where form over function just doesn't work for me, because I think what happened with the big wheel baggers is they became spaceships, and then they became spaceships with huge stereos in them, and then it was just a stereo competition, and it wasn't even about the motorcycles anymore.
I
What
know
about-
on YouTube
right.
a lot of those Daytona videos that came out. There's a lot of big wheel baggers going on
Yeah,
down
they-
there.
Oh, yeah.
they
Do
still
they have
exist.
the air ride on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have the air ride, man.
Dude,
So,
we
let's-
just sold a Road King that had air ride on it. It was pretty cool to see that operate.
So what are those big wheel baggers? Are they what, street glides, road glides? Probably the base bike.
They do both of them.
Oh,
I
so
think
Road
Kings.
Kings. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Road Kings.
So you're at say roughly $30,000 for the bike to buy
Yeah.
new. How much does it take to convert it
Oh God.
I
dude.
think it's
into
pretty
that big wheel
expensive.
bagger? I mean, it has to be at least 30,000.
front
It's
wheel
pretty-
alone is what, 10, 15?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
If you're going to the big boys, the 25 to 27
Yeah.
inch ones, they're
then what's
they're
an
gonna be
air
10
ride?
grand.
What's an air ride?
Compared to the front wheel, an air ride's nothing.
I think an air ride's 15 or 2,000, but you know,
Right.
it's all custom paint and all the
Right.
fabrication for the bags and the fins, and I mean, it has to be just a fucking shit ton of money.
Well, to start, there was a few companies out there that made a bolt-on kit, so you have to go all the way down to the neck, and you have to take the whole neck apart. And there's a bolt-on kit that changes the rake, so you can get that huge fucking front wheel on there, because you can't get the front wheel on the stock rake.
Okay, hold on though. When we're talking about price here. Are performance baggers really that much difference in price when you talk about adding all these different
Performance
mods?
baggers
no,
are
but they're
more
cool.
awesome than a big wheel.
they're
I
cool.
hear you, but I'm just saying. You're gonna put a fuck ton of money into that too.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's relative to what the people want. I think the difference is that a big wheel bagger was all about aesthetics, right? And a performance bagger is just about that. It's about making the bike better than the stock version. It's going to be faster. It's going to have better braking, better suspension. It's going to handle better. It's, all of those things make the bike more rideable, not less rideable. And all the things you do to a big wheel bagger makes it less rideable. And you have to spend a lot of money on those fucking bedazzled jeans.
That's
That's a
true.
lot. And they'll scratch
That's
your
true.
paint. So have you guys watched that fueling video on YouTube about performance baggers? It's like an hour long.
I haven't
No.
watched
No.
it yet. No.
It's really fucking good, dude. It's
Want to give us
interesting.
the Reader's Digest version?
Yeah, pretty much. The start of the King of the Baggers and all that, and the bikes that they showed up with and what they're racing now and how big of a difference it is. I mean, the fucking things they have out now are hanging with the sport bikes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
I mean, that's crazy.
Well, and the riders that are riding them, I mean,
Or sport bike riders.
yeah, and
Yeah.
if you've seen Harley's big name rider Wyman, is that how you pronounce his name? I think it's Kyle Wyman, right?
I thought it was Hyman. No, never mind. That's something else.
Yeah, I think it is something else. he follows that same kind of sport bike build too, right? I mean, he's a smaller guy. He's like maybe 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", probably 150 pounds soaking wet. And that guy throws that bagger around like it's a featherweight. I mean, these guys are impressive riders, without a doubt. They are extraordinarily
They've
impressive.
also shaved about 400 pounds off that bagger.
Oh yeah, they've
Yeah.
taken a lot of weight off.
It's nowhere
this bike.
near the weight.
Yep.
That sumbitch weighs about as much as a Nightster when they
Yeah,
get it out on the track.
Well, have you guys seen any of the legit race bikes in person?
No, I
I
saw
don't think I have.
Thrash and Supply put out some videos where they were there in Daytona,
Yeah.
and they had a behind the access thing back there of those back. Fuck, dude, those things were badass, dude.
Yeah, we went to a Bagger Racing League race last summer in Brainerd, and I think we'll probably end up going this summer too. But it's King of the Baggers. I think that's the one that we went to. But anyway, the whole guts have been removed from the fairing, so the fairing itself is just a shell. All the lighting has been removed. I mean, it is. You're right. They
It's a
shave a
shell.
ton of stuff off.
Yeah.
They still have a stereo though, right?
No.
What?
No stereo.
How are they
Nothing.
going to
All
listen
of
to the jams while they're racing?
They're all using Cardos.
Yeah, they don't listen to any jams.
There you go.
Yeah, they probably have their Katy Perry blasting in their Cardos.
Or Brittany.
Shit. So,
But-
boy, we got on a tangent on the King of the Baggers there.
Yeah, but those bikes are they are.
But
they
did
are
you see who
badass.
won the first King of the Baggers this year? What
Was- it was-
company?
Yeah,
it-
yeah.
I did not. Was it Harley?
That would be Harley-Davidson.
Was it Indian?
No.
No.
Look at Tony. He's
Was
like,
it a
I don't know if
Challenger?
Tony says, I don't know if I got another fuck off in front of me.
You know, it wouldn't have been Indian if they won. It would have been Polaris if they won.
That's true.
So, Dave, you
Yeah.
brought up this topic today in the group chat.
Well, I
and
brought up
you
a
were saying-
topic, but we haven't been talking about the topic.
No, we haven't. Do we ever?
Well, no, what I'm saying is you brought up the topic, and it's about the Harley herd mentality, right? So give me some examples of things that you've experienced where you would say it's a herd mentality. So give the people out
yeah.
there what you mean by that when you define that idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a grumpy mood. It just seems like everybody's just always on the same shit. You know, it's whether it's
Example.
okay. Whether it's and we joke about Indian, right? Tony
Yep.
is probably more serious than joke, but we joke about Indian. But there are people that feel strongly like that. Like I'm a Harley guy, so I have to hate Indian.
Sure.
You know, or
Right.
I'm going to buy a Harley, so I need to act a certain way, or I need to ride a certain way, or I need to buy a certain shit to put on my bike, or I need to wear certain shit. You know, because
Right.
it's part of the Harley culture, right? But is it really?
Well, and I think that there's factions within the Harley culture that exist too, depending on the bike that you ride, right? So if you ride a Sportster, you can that gets you into the cool kids club, but you're still riding the smallest bike that Harley makes.
Right.
So,
And people will make fun of you for that.
right. So it's this thing, even within the Harley culture, there's still subcultures that exist that have those same kind of mentalities that you're talking about. But I think that's one thing that we've talked about even a lot here on the podcast is that we have cultivated, I think, in our Discord, a place where all bikes and all riders and all skill levels and all of those things have a place for people, and they're not shunned or put down or crap given to for what people ride or don't ride based on that part of it. I think that we don't necessarily fit into that mentality that you're speaking of. You know what I mean?
Well, I
even
think-
think about the five of us. We all ride completely different motorcycles.
No, we don't.
Dustin and I are twins.
Yeah. But I mean, I think Percy's thinking more of the image that Harley puts off. When you think of Harley, you think of the leather clad, big beard.
I don't know, dude. I'm
I
kind
mean,
of
I
kind
don't
of
think
over
of
that.
it that way.
I am
Yeah.
too, but I
I
mean,
mean,
if
not-
you look
not
at
just-
their motor clothes, they haven't changed since 1975.
Well, I would differ with you on that because I've been
Okay.
seeing the new stuff that comes out. It's more going toward the Dynabro look. It's everything is fucking flannels and leather vests.
Yeah.
That's the way it's going now.
I think
Which-
part of it too, though, is like when you say that their clothes haven't changed. I think that that's part of their, I guess, the culture or the Harley brand. Like, there's some stuff that does change over time, but part of the branding really is that they want to stick to their origins.
Yeah, there's always going to be people that are still going to want leathers and stuff, but I've been noticing lately in our motor clothes that you're seeing leather jackets, you're seeing fewer and fewer of them every riding season. You're seeing more
Yeah, that's
textile,
true.
more
Yeah.
stuff that's going to be better for people that are more at-gat.
And I think it's part of what you're talking about, like with the clothing, is another. It's probably a good example of what I was kind of feeling when I was talking about this. Is there's, I've been watching this thing called YouTube, and people put
fucking
out
bullshit, man.
it's but it's just so, I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm grumpy. It's just tiring of hearing people bitch about shit that's not part of the herd mentality, right? Like the new clothing line that came out, modernized. I mean, would I wear it? If I could fit my fat ass in some of it, maybe. I don't know, but I mean, I don't care that it's there, right? I don't care that it's released. I'm not going to go make a video bitching about the fact that it's not Harley, that it's something new, that it's not part of this herd mentality that I have over what we collectively think Harley should be. I think actually, I kind of think those people are holding the brand back.
Who?
Yeah, I think that's tricky
We
too,
want
Dave,
names.
because we want names.
I just like Harley shirts because they fit. They're man cut.
Not
They're cut
all
for
of
a
them, not the
man.
new ones. New
No,
ones are
they
Euro
that
styling,
slim
man.
fit shit.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
Man, nobody fits in that.
Some of us do.
Where's the dad
Not
bod
me.
section?
Yeah, where's the
dad?
fucking
Yeah,
full
you
I
need
need
figured
to
section?
granddad
categories.
bod section.
Yeah, where's the full figured section?
I think that when you say that there's a group of people that are holding Harley back, I think the trick for Harley is that they're stuck right now. They're stuck between the people that still have the money to buy the most expensive motorcycles that Harley sells, and the next generation of riders, and that's the where they're at right now, and I think it's a very difficult transition that they're in. And so while they're trying to make this transition and have more modern clothes, and they're trying to change their bikes, all they get is blowback on what that looks like. This is what I think is really funny. Did any of you guys see the Eric Buell put out a new motorcycle that he said is going to go into
Fuck yeah,
production in
dude.
25? Okay, so that's the same bike that he designed 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
That frame looks exactly like an FXR without all the tins and stripped down. It's basically the FXR style frame with updated motor, exhaust, right? That's a badass looking bike.
It looks cool, man.
I wonder if that bike didn't say Buell on the side of it and it said Harley-Davidson, would you have all these people like, oh, look at Harley trying to put out a sport bike? You know what I'm saying?
That's what the Bronx was. I think that's
Or
what they
might
were trying to
still
do with the
be.
Bronx.
Yeah,
That-
and I wonder why that bike got tanked, because that bike looked badass.
I think it's price point, man. Let's think about it. Harley doesn't have any. So I saw the Nightster special on the showroom the other day. That fucking thing is $15,000.
That's a little bike for 15
That's
grand.
I mean, their price points have gone up instead of gone down. You know what I mean?
Right.
They've really doubled down on their core. I think their core customer. I don't think they've really looked at new riders with this new lineup. I think
that's part of the target of going, kind of focusing on being a premium brand, which means
Yeah.
you ain't going to be cheap. I don't, whether it's a motorcycle, market
Right.
or
Yeah,
computers.
David, I
or-
don't know
or
if you've
whatever.
noticed this too, but Mazda's done the same thing with their brand. They were more of an affordable
Yep.
automobile, and now they just rebranded themselves, remarketed themselves. Now they're trying to be a luxury brand. And I've been in some of their new vehicles, and they're nice. You know, they got all the latest shit in them and everything, and they're comfortable, leather everywhere in those things. And it's just amazing what a little bit of marketing dollars can do for a brand.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at Apple, right, and Apple, a couple of decades ago was driving towards trying to get the price down and allowing clones and all this other shit to make things more affordable, and it wasn't until Jobs came back and said, we're going to be a premium brand.
What was that phone, like the iPhone Lite that they put out that was like plastic instead of the
It was a
metal?
C.
Didn't last.
They call it the C.
That
Yeah.
was it. Yeah, that didn't work out
And it
too
was
well.
like white and
Yeah.
and a pink or teal color and a green and yeah.
And
But I
you
mean,
know
it's-
what?
it's
Harley
a-
did come out with an entry level bike, and it didn't take. They were called the Streets, and they were fucking dog ass ugly.
Well, those were just shitty products.
Right. Well,
You
they
know,
have that.
no, seriously. I mean, if you're going to go down market, you still have to put out quality. I mean, those were. Let's face it. Those were. Did any of you guys ride one? I rode one.
I didn't ride that. It's too ugly.
I never rode one. I can tell you though that the dealership up here had two of them that they completely tore down, built frame up builds on them, and made them street trackers. One was a dirt tracker and one's a street tracker, and they were some of the coolest bikes I've ever seen.
Well, by the
Come
time
out
they
of-
got
come
to
out of
that,
a dealership.
that last model, and I can't remember what it was, but Walter could tell you. Volt's kind of like that street was
What,
street
that
ride.
750 Street?
Yeah, that last version of it.
That was an 18 pack. If you sit down and drink an 18 pack of beer, it'd probably start looking good.
but they were getting there. But my point is that that's a legitimate business strategy for a lot of brands. You don't want to compete volume, sell less, own the market when it comes to profit, just like Apple does with the iPhone.
Yeah,
Right? More Androids sell than iPhones sell, but Apple owns the market. They own the majority of the profit because they focus on that upmarket placement.
Boy, we
I,
really
I still think every
off
time I
topic
hit
with
that,
this.
I still think every time I hit that side button on my iPhone, I still think there's a little needle that injects crack cocaine into my thumb.
I think it does too.
I
Apple
think
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what happened there, and maybe that's what happened, Tony. You sat down on the seat on your lowrider, and it sticks you right in the ass. With
Right
a
in
little
the
bit
ass.
Of
Well,
little bit of that Harley cocaine, and you're
Something's
just-
doing it because he's had that bike for what, going on 2 years
2
now,
years now. Yeah.
and he's still putting money into it.
Yeah.
Speaking of lowrider S, Dave, when you were coming up with this topic, did you have in mind like the people that are victims of marketing that look at what somebody else has and says, I have to have it? Is this kind of falling in line with what
I
you're
think
thinking
that's part. Yeah, absolutely. I mean that's part of it too. That you just
I think a lot of the trends
follow the curve. It's
it
not really
happens on
a
social
trend,
media.
but
Well, yeah.
it's on what?
Well, yeah.
It happens on social media because I
yeah.
remember
Yeah.
when Phil here, he didn't want to get a fucking Road Warrior fairing because everybody has them.
Right.
Nobody has them in Louisville. I was it.
I don't
Pretty
see,
much.
I don't see
You
that
know
many,
what I
I don't
mean?
see that many of them here.
No, and I was like, Phil, I don't. Everybody online has them, but how many have you seen actually on the road here in Louisville?
Yeah, that's a good point because
Yeah.
I don't think people realize what's a small percentage of like Instagram really is in the biker community.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is,
Yeah.
it dominates trends if you think about it.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a great product.
It is a great product, and I'll use those thrashing guys right now. They're doing a fantastic job of releasing daily or weekly blogs of these club style bikes and fucking burnouts and wheelies, and they're great fucking videos, and they're gaining steam with it. And people are just that billet, those billet aluminum machine parts are just. People are fucking beating off to them just like Amazon.
Well, I think part of that too, Tony, is that especially in California, chroming is nearly impossible to get and to get good. California has passed so many regulations that the chromers they're all shut down, And
Yeah.
so billet and polished aluminum is the thing in that area. But to your guys' point, it's interesting because you hit something on the head, Tony. So you follow something on Instagram and it trends in your feed, and then it picks up and says, "Oh, you like this guy that has this thing, so you're gonna like all these other guys that has the same thing." And
Same shit.
pretty soon your feed's filled with the same shit, right?
Yeah.
And so, just like you were doing in Louisville, there's no one in my area, literally no one that has a Road King that looks like mine. I could put it in the bike show here. I could drive it to a bike night. No one. Kenny's bike is going to be the only one that looks like mine in this area.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when I look at what I follow online, I follow people that all have bikes that look like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting, like you said, that part of it's interesting. It's like just like Phil's bike. I mean, I saw it at Hogs and Frogs. I saw probably 10 people walk over, and there's people taking pictures of Phil's bike, asking him what the hell it was. That bike looks nothing like it was designed.
Yep.
And you're not going to find one online that looks like that, right?
No.
But so it's an interesting situation when you think about that part of it, because Dave, I would ask you this: when you were thinking about what you wanted to do to your bike, what you did to your Fat Bob, or even what you're doing to your bike now, do you feel like what you're doing? I feel like what I have done has been influenced. Like, I like everything that I've done to my bike, and I feel like I've been influenced by the things that I've seen. Right. So for sure, there's a bit of herd mentality following what I've done to my bike, because what I've done isn't necessarily original. It might be original to where I'm at.
No, but that's different. I mean, you're taking inspiration from other stuff that you're seeing.
Okay.
You're not falling into lockstep and
I gotcha.
regurgitating shit you don't have any understanding about, simply because the 15 people around you also riding Harleys are saying that thing.
Well, it's kind of
what I
like the Me Too Street Glide, right? I mean, the black Street Glide became the Me Too bike of the Harley market the last 5 years.
I think that's shifting though.
Well, I don't disagree, but it's still, I still think it's a very prevalent thing that that stripped down Street Glide got hella popular. I mean, crazy popular.
I'm still struggling to think of some of the things that are the herd mentality, though. And I don't know if maybe that's just because I'm not as connected. I don't, have a lot of friends other than you guys.
Maybe you're part of the herd.
Yeah, maybe you're part of the herd.
I don't know. I mean, like I like buying the Harley shirts. I don't usually buy ones that aren't on sale. But it's like one of those things where I guess I just feel kind of proud to own one.
But you buy other shirts, and other shirts are okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she
So
just buys
is the
Harley shirts
main-
and Dixons. Totally herd mentality.
Yeah,
I shouldn't even be talking about
So
this
is
because I'm
that-
sitting here wearing a Dixon tonight. But
well, I know, but is that more kind of what you're getting at? Is it like that's one of them? If you're a Harley, the herd mentality is that you have to have Harley branded everything or this or that.
Harley owners are very passionate. I mean, they are.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, part of it might be part of the herd mentality, but it's like one of those things, since it is considered a premium brand. I guess you just, like, for me, I just feel kind of proud that I have one. And so I'm not like ashamed to wear Harley gear, and I like to go and buy it and wear it. But I don't feel like I'm, you know what I mean, just following the herd.
Yeah,
right,
well,
but
I mean,
you don't change your behavior, your attitude, or your opinions simply because you think that's the way it is within the group. Right? You still have freedom of thought, freedom of expression. Right?
I think herd mentality and brand loyalty are two different things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Because,
absolutely.
I mean, I can probably say Ryan's in the same boat I am. If I'm going to go buy a new motorcycle, I'm going to the Harley dealer. I'm not going anywhere else.
I mean, I would go look at
Correct,
other
me too.
stuff, but it's like we've talked about before. Some of the other brands are not readily available the way that Harley is, so it's difficult to even consider them as an option.
It's because they suck.
Well, I
moving
don't know if
on.
that's true, but it's just is what it is.
I'm
But-
not going to go to Harley-Davidson to buy a dirt bike if I wanted to start that adventure.
Right.
That's
Right.
true. Well,
Which,
maybe
which
not,
I mean,
unless
even
you
at,
want a
even at my age, which
Pan
I'm not that old, I mean, I would totally do that. I'd go buy a Kawasaki the second.
I've seen now. I've been around both the Pan Am with one of our Discord members owning a Pan Am, and you probably
There's
have
a few
too, Dave.
Discord members that own Pan Ams.
Yep. And then I sat on that BMW that's in Tony's garage, and I can tell you just from sitting on both those bikes, the BMW is a far superior machine, and I haven't even moved that bike 3 inches, either one of them. So I mean, you can tell when there's quality built into something, and I think that's a little bit different. I think so. You might buy a T-shirt, Brittany, for a different reason than I buy a T-shirt, right? So like when I travel the country, if I'm near a Harley dealership that I haven't been to, I always try to stop in and buy a T-shirt and a poker chip. And more oftentimes than not, it's just like a tattoo, right? It's a passage of time. It's a marking a time and a space and a place that I've been, more so than it is owning a Harley T-shirt, if that makes sense. I don't need another fucking Harley T-shirt. I mean, I've got 48 Harley T-shirts
But
right
why
now.
do
I don't need
you-
another one.
Why do you choose to go to and buy a Harley shirt as opposed to like something else in that time and space that you're visiting?
Right. Well, because almost every Harley shirt is going to have the name of the dealer, the location where you bought it, and all that stuff on the back, just like the poker chips do. And so it's really truly marking this time and place and that you've been and whatever. And so, but is there a brand loyalty component, like Tony said, that goes along with that? Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
And I guess from that perspective is that, I don't know if that is following the herd or not following the herd, as much as for me, it's truly, there's a customer loyalty situation that I think that I'm, like if I go into a dealership and I spend any time there, drink some water, use their bathroom, whatever, I'm probably going to buy a T-shirt and a poker chip. That's just kind of part of that.
That's just, again, it's stuff that appeals to you, that you like, that you're getting.
Yeah.
I think here's a good example of what I was kind of talking about. You put a loud ass exhaust on your bike, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Because you just wanted it to sound nasty. And
Yeah,
you did a great
for sure.
job, because it sounds very nasty.
For sure. Yep.
What you didn't do was to put that exhaust on because loud pipes save lives.
Oh, right.
Right. But there are
Yep.
people that actually, they hear that and they fall in line, and then I've got to have a loud pipe. And yeah, your bike sounds obnoxious as shit. Well, loud pipes save lives.
Right.
That's herd mentality.
What if it's true, though?
Right.
What if
I've
true?
had my pipes save my life on more than one occasion.
Yeah, but that, you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, this is one of those things
the
that gets thrown
excuse.
about. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the
yeah.
excuse to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
Because I think truly, like a decibel rating of like an over the road truck, like a semi, is louder than a Harley Davidson.
Oh, it
Typically.
probably is.
Well, I mean, honestly, the decibel rating does not add inches to your dick.
This is true.
So,
This is true.
you know what I mean?
Hey, that might not be true, but I'm pretty sure it did to mine.
It doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but I'm saying that it really doesn't. But it could help.
Well, and I would call myself a victim of that a little bit too. So when I got my Sportster, one of the second thing I bought was a leather Harley jacket emblazoned with Harley Davidson all over it.
Right.
And I wore it all over the place, and I wore it when I wasn't on my bike, and it's probably, from a quality perspective, it's one of the nicest jackets that I own.
I got
That
one
thing-
hanging in the closet.
That thing will outlive me by 100 years.
But
no
can
doubt.
can you guys imagine seeing Kid Moto 22 walking around the area with all this Harley shit on, looking like a badass biker with a beard?
I don't have to
And the
imagine it.
hat.
I've seen it.
But then you watch him walk up and get onto a Sportster.
Well,
That had to be just funny as shit, man.
Right. But I was guilty of that. But as I matured in that, I realized, okay, I bought it. I drank the Kool-Aid. That's not me. I haven't worn it I haven't worn that jacket in at least 2 years, if not longer. Right. Because there's some things that have taken over from a form and function standpoint that are better for me. Preferably for me, I'm going to be wearing a vest and a flannel shirt. I mean, that's what I wear. If I'm not wearing that, I'm wearing my heated gear. It is what it is.
The Dynabro look up. I think it's
absolutely
like anything. When you get your first Harley, at least with me, man, I was so proud of that thing. I was like a proud new papa. I was buying everything Harley. Hats, shirts, banners, clocks, whatever I could find, you know?
Hey, I remember a day. In fact, I could go back and pull a video and post it up here when Mr. Cox had the 3/4 finger cut off finger Harley gloves that he used to wear.
Nice. So I want to ask, because this was one of the things that came up in the Discord questions. Does the parade, is that part of the herd mentality?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
so the
happening if you
question-
want it to or not. I'm with that guy. It's happening.
Well, we
So
don't
the
do it at our
question-
dealership.
You don't do it
The
at your
question was
dealership.
about the whole
Oh.
the whole spiel that the dealers do whenever anyone buys a bike. I personally kind of like it because I'm with Tony. I'm like, man, this is exciting. This is my Harley. I haven't owned one before.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, that's not part of. That's not. Herd mentality is you're conforming to the beliefs and behaviors of a group.
But this
Right.
guy in the Discord, he did not want to go through that whole rigmarole. He just wanted to buy his shit and leave.
Right.
And
but
they
he-
forced him into
Yeah,
it.
but again, I think we do want to talk about that tonight. But that's not herd mentality. That's the marketing.
That's
of the
being a
dealership.
pussy and not doing a hard no.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't want to do that. That's called peer pressure.
Yeah, that'd be a hard no from me.
I just wondered if it was like not considered necessarily the herd mentality, but kind of part of one of those things that Harleys do, because I don't know if other brands do the similar thing.
Well, I don't
or
know.
not.
What about your dealers? My dealer doesn't. I mean, you ring the bell, but that
Oh,
they
ours
don't-
make tons of
But
noise.
that's it.
Yeah, so does Bluegrass. Bluegrass, it's a fucking party when somebody buys one.
Dustin,
Do
you're
they
shaking
start
your
up a
head.
bunch of the bikes, Tony, and rev the bikes?
That's what
Yeah,
they
it's
do
bike
anymore.
revving and horn blowing and
Yeah.
fucking sirens
Really?
going off.
There's
and-
no
yeah.
there's no parade, but everybody honks the horns or revs the bikes or does whatever. Makes
If you
loud
don't want to
noise.
be center of attention, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because for those 5 or 10 seconds that feel like 30 minutes,
it's- I think it's a well-known thing though that that's what will happen when you buy a Harley.
Well, not just Harleys,
Dustin said
though.
in his dealership that they don't do that.
No, there's no bell to ring. They don't parade you. They don't give you. I'll have to ask about this, but I'm just wondering if it's something about where people just didn't want the attention.
Well, you guys sell
Maybe.
Can-Ams though,
And Honda.
Yeah.
right? So I mean,
You
that's
can't
part
be
of
very proud of a Pan Am after you buy it.
it. But I mean,
Pan-Am
but
or
it's not.
Can-Am?
It's not just Harley. though, 'cause
Can Am, I mean.
remember
the
when
fucking
Mary
steering
bought
wheel motherfucker.
when Mary bought her last bike? I remember her posting a video, ringing a bell in the dealership,
Okay.
and I congratulated her for getting a Harley. She didn't get a Harley. I forgot what she rode, but it was a
Honda.
different
It was a Shadow.
Honda. It was a different brand, different dealer, and they did the bell thing.
Interesting. Yeah. I guess I haven't been in a different dealership that when somebody bought something. I've been to like the power sports type stores, but apparently either they're very quiet about it or nobody was buying shit when I was there.
So
I want
did,
to.
did like
I wanna
your
see a
dealer
lamp.
do the poker run when you buy a bike?
Did the what?
Like the poker run where you like go to. So like I would go
Oh,
to the
you
parts
run around the
department
whole-
and pull
yeah,
a
they
card,
made me do
and then I would
that.
go to
Oh.
the motor clothes and pull a card, and then at the end of the 5
Yeah.
things, you depending on what kind of hand you had, you got a certain amount of money or a discount or something.
Really?
on merchandise, yeah.
Yeah, all my dealer does is they take you to department to introduce you,
That's
right,
what mine.
Yeah.
to each.
Well,
and
that's
you
pretty
get
much
the
it, but you got to
free
draw a
T-shirt.
card. So
Hey, everybody, this is Dave's wallet.
yeah,
That's right. That's right.
pretty much.
Pretty much.
I wanna
Yeah, I
see a
mean,
la-
they could have just gave you the freaking cards and been like, "Here's who you can call. Now move on."
I want to see a Lamborghini dealership do one of those. You buy a Lamborghini and they stand you in front of a wall and you ring a bell.
They don't have. You don't have to ring a bell. They got a fluffer in the back when you sign the papers.
then a little Italian dude comes out and pricks your finger and you dip your finger in blood and then you sign it on the piece of paper with a big feather plume.
They got a fluffer back there.
You know, when I took delivery of my BMW, they actually had someone assign to me for delivery that would sit down and go over everything in the car and then show you where to, introduce you to the parts department and stuff. So I don't think that's unique to Harley.
No, that's not unique. When
motorcycles.
I bought my wife that Mercedes, they did the same thing. We had a delivery person, and it was a fucking experience. It was pretty cool, actually.
When I bought my truck, if the guy was going to ask me if I wanted to ring a bell, I would have said, "I'll ring the bell." Do you know what teabagging is?
You're a classy dude, Kid Moto 22.
I know. It happens.
The herd mentality.
You guys are all gonna get an opportunity to meet my better half, so you can shake her hand and you can.
It's going to be an interesting weekend coming up.
I am
understand what
very
she has to
excited
deal
to
with.
meet her.
This thing's going to be over by the time this podcast airs, but I'm excited with everybody bringing their families and shit. That'll be cool.
Well, if
Yeah,
you're a
it's gonna be
dude,
fun.
wear a cup because my youngest is good at sack taps.
Well, he
What
better
are you
aim low
teaching
for
that
me.
young man, dude?
I ain't teaching him. I think it's his grandpa.
All he's got to do is punch Tony in the knee, and he'll hit a
Yeah,
ball.
just aim for the knee. He'll get me. Gotta go low. I don't know. It depends on how cold it is.
Tony's got that old man stag going on.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
Sure. Keep telling yourself that, Dave.
dude. I'm not even going to tell that story.
Now I want to know.
No, it was nothing. Gross. All right. Moving
Next
on.
topic.
Do we have any questions?
I don't know.
I don't think we generated many questions.
I
think
thought
we've
we
kinda
had
answered them all.
we did have a few. I thought. Well, the one that Brittany brought up was the one that I wanted to make sure that we got some discussion.
Yeah,
on
well,
tonight.
I mean, like I read that one too, man. I'm not calling that dude a pussy because I'm not. Because they do. It's a lot of peer pressure when you buy a bike, like especially like the dealership where I bought mine. They want you to do it, even if you don't want to. You know what I
You
mean?
shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
I
The thing
think
is, you
that's
shouldn't be
bullshit.
forced to do it. You spend the money. It should be dealer's choice, not
Right.
dealership's choice, but your choice. But that's
Yeah,
something
I
I want to
agree.
ask. I guess my GM to see, like, why haven't we done that? Because even when I bought my bike back in 18, there was no bell to ring. There was no
No.
radio. Dustin bought a new bike. Let's give it up for Mr. Thacker.
Well, and
Beep,
like
beep,
I
beep.
said before, I was involved with motorcycles at all. That was one of the things that I just knew about the brand. It's like one of those things. I don't know how I learned it, but it's like well known that when you buy a Harley, you get to like ring the Harley bell, and it's a whole experience.
Well, since
As
we
it
did,
should be.
we did actually answer this gentleman's question. Brittany, can you what's this guy's name?
I am
Is
not.
it Twisted Junior NY?
Oh, where? Let me find.
He's in the
it.
Discord questions.
Yeah,
TWSTD_JRNY.
I would say Twisted,
Twisted Journey.
Oh, Twisted
Boy,
Journey.
we really our topic tonight. We were all over the fucking place.
It's like ADHD.
we were.
over
I
here.
mean, I
This
don't even
podcast
think
was a
we
little
talked-
bit ADHD. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you going with this, Ryan?
No, I was just gonna say we could just we always when we answer
Oh.
Discord questions we always give a shout out to the person that asked them. So
Yeah.
I just thought we should actually give a shout out to the person who posed the question since we've spent the last 10 minutes talking about.
Yeah, no, I feel his pain,
Parade.
dude. I mean, if they do, some of them are pushy and they really want you to do it. And I mean, if you're not good at dealing with peer pressure, you're going to end up doing something you don't want to. And I don't think it should be that way. I think it should be your choice.
Everybody needs to remember this acronym EBOD.
Yeah, eat a bag of dicks.
Eat a bag of dicks.
Oh.
Yep.
And plus, peer pressure doesn't work on me anymore. I'll tell you to fuck off quick. I'm not doing anything I don't want to do.
Or how did it go last week? You can suck the skin off. My dick.
Yeah, suck the skin off of it, man.
I mean,
it's
the
just,
funny thing with this one though is that they will tell you they're doing it to welcome you into the family, when they're doing it to try to put pressure
on the people that
deals
are
of the other people
looking
that
at
are in
bikes.
there.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know of those of you whose dealer do this. Do you know if they actually do it if nobody else is in the dealership shopping?
Oh,
I don't know. I've never seen
I would say
nobody in
Very
it.
interesting.
When I bought mine, when I bought my Sport Glide, there was like I think we were the only people in the dealership, and I still rang the bell.
That's a good question, Dave, because I'm wondering if it's another sales tactic. Like, ooh, look at that guy. He's
Fuck
getting
yeah,
paraded.
Of course it
Maybe
is.
think
I'm
all
gonna,
this stuff.
I'm gonna buy this
mean, I'm
road
sure
glide.
it is, but I
Stuff isn't
think-
on
Yeah.
accident. You know what I mean? It's
Everything's
all thought
part
out.
of the
Yeah.
deal.
I think part of it is just, like I said, part of the experience.
Oh, their
And I mean, some
experience.
people love it, man. I mean, some people love it because like
I
it is a
loved
big,
ringing the
it
bell.
is a
I
big
was so
deal.
excited.
Their experience is intentional, Brittany. It's just like the whole T-shirt thing, right? So they're getting free marketing for every person that buys a T-shirt because you become a Harley-Davidson walking
Yeah.
fucking billboard.
Yeah, and you're proud to do it too.
Exactly.
When you buy that
And you're
first
proud.
I
bike,
don't know
man.
what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Fucking sprouting. I don't know what he's talking about.
Now, did you buy that or was that company issue?
No, I bought this.
Wow, that's a nice looking shirt, dude.
It is. I
Who
got a
made
good-
that? Is that a Harley shirt? That's a nice looking shirt.
It's a nice looking Harvey Danielson.
Oh, it looks
Yeah.
like one of the newer ones.
It
the
is.
newer styles. Yeah, I like
It's
that.
that
one.
Euro style because you're not old enough to have a gut yet.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, I gotta have the.
Hey,
I can't. The millennial cut doesn't work for me.
No,
It's-
man.
it's-
I mean, when I put on something like that, you can't read the letters because they're all disformed.
I
Yeah.
follow.
It looks like
That's pretty bad.
It's a Harley.
I follow one simple rule when it comes to the gut. When I go in the bathroom to take a piss, if I look down and I can still see my dick, my
You're
gut
doing
is just
good.
fine.
Yeah, you're doing good.
If I lose sight of my dick, I gotta go on a diet.
That's
I like to call it
that's a
Dicky
good
Doo
plan.
disease.
I like it.
Dicky do disease.
Dicky Doo. If your stomach sticks out further than your
They were-
Dicky Doo, it's time to go on a diet.
Bert Kreischer's special. He was making jokes about that. Actually, it was so funny.
Dicky Doo disease.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get to some Discord questions
Yeah, I'm
Since
trying to
we've
find
kinda-
here.
since we kind of started the topic.
All right, the first one from
Ball sack?
from last one. Nope.
Ball
the
sack.
Lost Woods. Well, I guess it's a podcast idea. Maybe I shouldn't read that. one.
Lost Woods.
Yeah, leave that one.
I'll
Broke
leave
back?
that one. Okay, so yes, Percy, ball sack
Ball sack.
is. Oh, okay, let me just read this. He says.
That's
There's
a strong-
This
that's
is
a
one of the
strong name.
questions Tony's gonna love because there's a setup for the question
my
and it's two parts.
Even better.
So the setup is.
Answers for?
I started riding later in life and experienced a fair amount of motorcycle negativity from family and friends. These discussions tended to play right into my personal fears and could have had an effect on my confidence. Let's see. Okay, so then part A. Have you experienced this? How do or did you deal with other people's negativity? And then part B is like to share a motorcycle related fear that you've had and how you overcame it. That's a good question, but it's not Tony's realm.
Too many feelings.
So first part.
Yeah.
Did
share
we
your-
have? Did you have any negativity thrown at you, and how'd you deal with it?
I think everybody has negativity
think-
thrown at them when they ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, I think so. All
Mm-hmm.
the time.
I know I did.
People
Motorcycle
always have
negativity.
something to say.
Motorcycle negativity are like assholes. Everybody has one, and everybody has something to say about it.
And I mean, you can get that at the gas station, pumping gas. Somebody come up to you, oh, I had a buddy that, got run over by a fucking semi. Then a fucking hawk came down and ate his ass out. And then,
Is that what we
It's like,
smelled in
really?
Kentucky back in 21?
yeah, I mean, it's like,
Yeah, I think the funny thing for me is when I got started riding again, I was, I had the same thing. People negative about everything. I don't really care. I don't care what people think about anything I do. So it didn't impact me at all. What I found was interesting though are the people who still to this day will ask my wife why she lets me ride,
Oh, I got that for sure.
and she'll basically tell them to fuck off.
Now, Dave,
You
let me,
know?
and I'm being completely serious about this because, and I'm not, so hear me out. Did you get ageism questions when you started riding?
Oh yeah. I got a lot
Oh,
of
I
that
bet.
too.
Okay.
But to be totally honest about it, one of the reasons I didn't get back on a bike for so long because my son, PJ, was always on my ass about getting the bike again and starting to ride with him. And I would tell him, one, I'm not riding around this area ever. I'll never get on the roads around DC. Too dangerous. And two, I'm too old. If I get in a wreck, I'm not going to recover as quickly as I would have when I was younger. I fell into that myself for a long time until I made the decision that, I need to get back on a bike or something bad's going to happen.
So that sounds like the motorcycle related fear then for you was
Yeah, that's a good example.
you were afraid to get on the bike for
No.
those things.
No, it was a rationalization. It wasn't a fear.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I used that to not get back on a bike.
Okay.
It wasn't that I was afraid to get on the bike or afraid to ride around here.
Sure.
I think the last thing I was really afraid of on a bike was when I first started riding. I was scared shitless to get on the highway.
Yeah. I can relate to that. Yeah.
I
I
think
overcame that by getting on the highway.
right. I think that the motorcycle related fears are almost all linked to skill, and you just need to practice, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
I think that's what most motorcycle related fears is linked to skill.
And you know what? I don't hate a little fear every time I get on a bike either.
Yeah.
I
Nothing
think
wrong
when
with
you
that.
get
No, it kinda
very
keeps you
comfortable on
grounded.
something is when mistakes are made.
Yep.
When you get confident and comfortable, that's usually when you make a mistake. If there's always that little bit of fear, and you have to mitigate risk. I mean, it is what it is when it comes to riding a motorcycle.
Yep.
It's but I don't do it for other people. I do it for me. So everybody that has anything to say can again eat my dick.
Right.
I don't know, ball sack. I don't know how old you
Yeah.
are. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I can't believe that you're. I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe you're older than I was when I got back on a bike.
Yeah.
I was in my late 50s, or mid 50s, late 50s.
There's always
whatever.
going to be negativity. People are always
Yeah.
going to have negative stories about motorcycling.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
my old man rode. He was in a bike accident when he was younger, but he rode. So there's really no telling me, hey, you can't do this if I did it. But
Yeah.
I never had any of that with my dad. My mother was worried. Of course, my wife was worried, but it was a matter of I'm taking the courses. I'm going to do it safe. I'm not going to ride like an idiot. And there's another thing too. Like when I was young, I don't know, 12, 13 or whatever, getting ready to go into high school, we had a kid in our class who died riding his dirt bike out in the woods.
Yeah.
He was riding in a heavily wooded area, and he hit a tree, and it killed him. So imagine having that, plus people telling you not to ride when you grow up. Didn't know if I'd ever get into it.
Yeah. No. And when I talk about fear too of riding, I'm talking about a fear that doesn't inhibit your ability. It makes you sharper. Not a fear that makes you uncomfortable and you're afraid the entire time you're on the bike.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's people that buy a motorcycle and they have that fear. And when you're that afraid when you're on a bike, you're not doing anybody any good, especially yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
Hey,
I wanted
Dustin,
to add
how-
to it though too is like one thing to keep in mind is when we talk about like family and friends, sometimes where they come across negative, they got to remember that they have good intentions as well. So I'm not talking your everyday off the street person that's being negative, but your family and friends usually are trying to have good intentions.
Well, yeah, it's because they
So
care about
remember
you. They
that,
don't want anything
too.
to happen. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
still
of
don't-
course.
Still don't care what they say.
But everyone else, I think, as a whole, the podcast recommends that you tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dustin, how old were you when you started riding again? Because you weren't young.
No, 34, 35.
Okay, so
No.
I think for a lot, I don't know,
Mature
That's
mature
not
enough
young.
not to
Late?
make stupid decisions.
Right.
I was
Right.
still a new dad at the time. My youngest was a year old. So I didn't want to be an idiot that drunken road. Was doing 120 all the time. I just wanted to go out, have a good time, and ride. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you had a level of maturity that helped a great deal.
Yeah,
I would
because
think.
if you're younger, you don't think anything can kill you, and
I
that's.
remember those days.
I
do
think
too.
I think it'd be a different story if I started riding a lot younger.
Yeah.
I think
you might be more mature than Jared.
I think that Dave and I have a similar journey. We just reached them at different times, right? I reached that point in my life where not riding wasn't an option anymore. It was something I needed to do to get back to who I was in my core. And if I didn't do that, the outlets would have probably not been as healthy as this has been for me. So,
And I'm glad we both did, because
yeah,
if we hadn't, we'd have never known each other.
for sure. For sure.
And going back to that comment about somebody asking somebody's wife why you let him.
Yeah.
Aw,
That's
come on.
bullshit.
Oh, dude.
okay.
No, you wouldn't believe.
Hold on.
No,
So
I hate hearing that stuff. I mean, it's
Hey,
just
man, my wife whooped my ass.
okay.
I ain't afraid to say it.
That might be, but it's just wild to assume that one, you can't make your own decisions, and that two, women are always controlling everything in a marriage. Like,
Well-
let's just fucking quit doing that. You know?
No, but this is I do understand that a little bit. Now, my wife has gotten a lot of questions like that because her and I are very different people, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So, I got my first tattoo when I was 22 years old. We had already been married for 2 years, right? I grew out a full beard in my, mid 40s, and grew a big beard. So some people might say, well, your husband's not the person that you married, right? And
Nowhere
my wife's response to that is always, they would say, oh, what do you think of your husband's beard? And she'll say, it's his face, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but or getting the tattoos getting a tattoo has zero reflection on what kind of father I am, what kind of director I am in my job, how professional I am. It has nothing to do with any of that. They're all very personal decisions.
I mean, if
And
you
that
have
has-
like a
but
sex scene tattooed on you, maybe different.
It has everything, well, possibly, but it has everything to do.
Idea for Louisville.
Right? Okay, maybe so.
Let's go get
It has-
tattooed, bro.
It has everything. It has everything to do with other people's opinions of what they think about you, and it goes back to just what Tony said and what Dave said and what we said in the very beginning. Fuck off,
Yep.
right? I don't do it for anybody else.
I love
And
it.
if I want to get a giant sex scene tattoo on my back, it's my prerogative.
It's covered up for work then, though.
This is Jenna Jameson doing the slobber blues.
Oh my god.
She's on bar 4.
Nope.
Okay,
All
well,
right,
that was
next
a good question.
It was a good question. You could probably spend a whole day talking
You
about
probably
that.
could.
next week.
Okay, the next one is a much simpler question. Master of None Moto says, how do you guys keep track of maintenance on your bikes?
Write
Keep
it down.
track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, do you keep track of your maintenance?
You trade them in.
Like,
How do you keep track? Tony goes 5,000 miles. That's how I keep track. That
how I
bike's
keep
got to
track.
go. That bike's got to go.
Honestly, and I know I'll catch shit on this one. I don't ride enough miles during the season where I have to worry about a mid-season oil change. So at the end of every season, I change my oil, and I do my maintenance at the end of every season. And that way, when spring hits, the bike's ready to go.
Right.
Hey, I just heard today. I was listening to a podcast, a long distance rider who has done some research on this. He's currently in 100,000 mile in a year journey right now.
Wow.
But he's a long distance rider. He's done 200 iron butts. This guy has.
damn.
Is that like a
That's
world
a lot.
record?
No, it's
I
not
don't
even a
know.
world record, but
Good
that's how many
Lord.
he's done. He did a 48 and 8 back to back because or 48 and 10 back to back because one of the receipts that he had on his journey, the first journey, was for Alabama, not Florida. So he said he missed the state. So he did it again back to back. But anyway,
Fuck that.
Wow.
he said the average motorcycle rider puts on between 3,000 and 5,000 miles a season.
The average is 3. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
An average bagger rider will put on between 5 and 8,000 miles.
God damn, I'm overperforming.
Anything above that is considered to be, that you're really putting on good mileage on your bike every year. And if you're not a long distance rider, so you're not doing iron butts and all that kind of stuff, and you're putting on 10 to 12 to 14,000 miles a year, you're more than tripling the average rider's distance per year.
That's
So,
crazy to me.
Yeah.
That people
I
spend that
agree.
much money for something and not.
I
not
agree
be
with
out
you,
like
Dave,
it.
but I'm just saying that there's more riders that have the Harley to polish it in their garage than to actually ride it.
Before
So Ryan,
any
so out of
motherfucker
our
say
group,
anything.
you and I, Ryan, in our group, you and I are the overperformers and the ones that probably have to do the most maintenance on our bikes.
You're right.
So what's your answer to this question?
I don't keep a logbook at all. I change my bike based on my miles when I need to, and it's
That's what we do.
It's typically 2 to 3 times a season, and I don't keep a fucking logbook because honestly, when I'm done with my motorcycle, somebody might not even want it because I'm going to ride the piss off of it.
Yeah.
Well, I
that's-
think it's what
that's
is it
true.
like every 5,000 miles is when you're supposed to change.
It's every
recommended.
5,000. Yeah.
It's 5,000.
So
but
it's
that
you just keep track of that. You don't really
that
have to. You just
synthetic
check
can really
your-
go 75. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
5,000.
Right.
I hope so because I'm gonna need that later this year. I don't keep track of anything. Every 5,000 miles I take it to the dealer and they've got everything in the computer I need to reference. But I prepaid for my maintenance, so at some point I will run out of that and we'll see what I do. I do want to give a plug though for one of our Discord members and our great friends here at the Five Dirty Bikers, Whit Mesa.
Wow, what is she doing now?
Whit has published a book
No shit.
Oh, nice.
that's available on Amazon, and it's for you to. It's a kind of I think it's a combination journal, keep track of your adventure, but it also has a maintenance section in it. So I don't know if we could put the link on the YouTube version or something, or you know what, come
Yeah.
to the Discord and find
We'll
out how
have
to
to get a link to that somewhere.
her
She
book.
puts. You're talking about somebody who rides. She
And I
doesn't fuck
did
around.
not know. Let me give credit where credit's due. Volts actually brought this up last week, and we were talking about it this weekend. I didn't know that she did that. She should.
All right, before we leave, we got to give a quick thank you because in the first 17 days we've raised over $5,000 for the Sportster Chopper for Autism Society, and nobody's seen the bike yet.
Yeah, no, but by the time this airs, everybody will see the bike. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's going to be everywhere.
yeah, all over the place.
Yep.
Hopefully,
So I guess I'll just go ahead and tell everybody thanks for being at the event on Saturday. Hopefully it turned out good for you
yeah, hopefully
and us,
we'll see.
of course, and Jared, who made the trip up from Florida with his brother and his son.
It's good. It's a bad motherfucker, dude. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us on this episode of Five Dirty Bikers Podcast. Until next time, keep it fucking dirty.